Welcome to Inspired by Design, the podcast where we explore the tools, stories, and insights to help you rediscover your authentic self and navigate life with less resistance. I'm Katie Rupert, a former hustle and grind overachiever on a thrilling and messy journey. I'd love to share what I'm learning and help others in self-discovery using human design. So, if you're seeking a way to move forward, let me be your weekly mindset coach and share stories to inspire you to action towards your unique purpose without the force or burnout. Hello, I'm so glad you came back. Today, if you're listening on the date that this episode airs, it is a new moon in Aries, and I wanted to give you that reminder in case you don't follow the moon cycles. I love to give you a little prompt. I've been doing these flow with the moon and not against yourself workshops. And since it's a new moon, that means that we can't see the moon in the sky. But it offers us just a reminder to check in with ourselves about what it is that we're trying to create in our lives. So whenever there's a new moon, I have a little monthly ritual that I do that just take a little inventory of my own life and what is it that I am trying to plant seeds for? What do I want to grow in my life over this next month, 6 months, year, and check in with my goals. It's a really fresh approach to goal setting that's not hustle minded or even numbers minded, although you could say a specific goal for what you're trying to create in your life. So that's my little reminder. Being an Aries is a fire element. And so you might know some people that are Aries and they're known for being, quick-witted, quick-tempered, hot, fast to come back or even to get angry sometimes. But really, Aries is all about this getting started. They're the fire starter. They are willing to take action. And they're ruled by Mars, which is also a planet of action. And it has the warrior as its, avatar for both Aries and for Mars. So if you have something that you need to fight for, if you have something that you're trying to create and start, no better time than to plant the seeds in a new moon, set that intention and start taking action towards it if you haven't already. So that's your little reminder for the week. I am on a high from the tea ceremony that I did this past weekend. I told you about it leading up to it, but I wanted to give you the DL on it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. We had speakers. We had just the most beautiful setup. And it was a really nice time to pause. So I got to speak about the energy of the day with human design. I put in as if someone was being born into my human design system, being born at the date and time of our ceremony. And then I used that to just share a little bit about the energy of the day. And since we're close by, it'll still ring true, or we'll be feeling that impact. And some of the big takeaways for the energy that we're feeling that you can work with or just remind yourself of is first that we need to respond to life and do the things and create the things that we want with a whole, full-bodied yes. We want to move forward. We're feeling attracted to it. Those are the things that are calling to us. And also to start noticing whenever you're doing things that you feel resistant to, that you don't have passion for anymore, that you don't have to decide your life in a day. The energy of right now is all about clarity, not being in the moment, but with gentle contemplation, with knowing that you don't have to decide your whole life right now or today or yesterday, letting go of the hustle and taking your time to let your clarity come to you. And that was a big theme of this whole month, about letting things that are done and finished complete themselves, making space for what it is that you do want to bring in. And a lot of times that does come with letting go and knowing internally through your body that it's okay to let things go or to complete, even if it was a good thing or if it's a bad thing. So what is it that you need to let go of? And then the other thing that I thought was really interesting about the energy that I spoke about at this tea ceremony was it's really a time of taking action, trial and error,
and figuring it out as you go in a way. If you've got that vision or you have something that you want to build that is lighting you up right now, go for it. And just know you don't have to have it all figured out right away. Let it be trial and error. Solve problems for yourself. And I wanted to mention all that because how cool is it that they are so in sync, right? I don't think that's coincidence. So you have your moon check-in today. Just what is it that you want to create? And you might use some of those energetic themes of letting things go, making sure that what you're trying to create is something that you have life force to move towards. Okay, well, that's my little synopsis of what's happening in the air. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Okay, but this is a question and answer episode. So let's go ahead and get to some of your questions. Now, these are from listeners just like you, people that, some of them know about human design. Some of them like listen to an episode and they're like, Katie said, do a Google form and they're rule followers. So they gave me questions. So I have a few I pulled out and we'll see how many we can get through. The first one from Callie. Why do I literally overthink everything? Even small decisions feel exhausting. So I totally relate to this. And I feel like a lot of us can. When I think about human design and overthinking, the first thing that comes to mind is that head and ajna center, because in everyone's body graph, we all have the 9 energy centers. Some of us have them defined or colored in, that we have consistent access to the gifts of that center. And some of us have them not colored in or undefined. And when they're undefined, these are spaces where we amplify energy, where we notice other people that have it. And sometimes that can make us feel like, oh, well, that's not me. I don't have that. And that could make you feel like you're not enough. And the whole point is to understand how your configuration goes. So if you have white space in the head or the ajna or both, then you're going to be having less access, inconsistent access to being able to handle the pressure to figure things out, to know, to decide from the mind. And it is more rare to have the head and the ajna center colored in or defined in your chart. So there's a good likelihood that, this listener has the white headspace. But either way, whether you have it or not, traditional wisdom tells us to make smart decisions that are wise. But what I'll offer you is to consider, like, even if small decisions feel exhausting and you're overthinking them, what if you tried the fresh approach of human design? Because your particular human design type, everybody listening, has a personal wisdom that comes from the body that can act as, I heard it said once, as a tiebreaker. If you're not sure which way to go, then you go to your internal authority that your human design says. For me, that's the gut intuition. Is it a full-bodied yes, or am I resisting it? Does it not have the life force or energy to move towards it and build it? Because whenever it's the right decision for me, in my authority, applying my authority, I'm going to have the energy to build it. I'm going to get energy from doing the thing. So if a decision is being overthinking, I just need to get out there and do it if it feels like something that I want. And if not, then it's a no for now. So if you don't know your authority, check out the authority episode. It's earlier on in the podcast, but check out yours, or you can book a reading and we can go over that. That's covered in both mini sessions and your foundational readings. Okay, I hope that helps. But what if we just try a new approach to taking all that overthinking and let the body lead you or help you, support you in feeling clear and right? That is one of the best gifts of human design. Okay, this one's Jenna. How do I know if I'm actually burnt out or just being lazy and unmotivated? I start things, then second guess myself halfway through. Why does that keep happening? Okay, it's kind of like 2 questions in there. But here's what I want to say. Are you burnt out? Do you ever have life force energy for anything? And when I say life force energy, you know what that's like, where you get excited about something and you're like, oh yeah, this is easy. This is flowing. I don't mind doing this at all. Think about the hobbies or the people that you love talking to, or when you have felt great in the past, like what were the circumstances around it? And it will vary a little bit based on your type. I'm a generator, so I speak in generator language, but whether you're a generator or not, if you're feeling burnt out, it's going to feel like I'm drained. I couldn't pull myself up by my bootstraps if I wanted to. And there's a lack of life force. It feels like the hardest thing you ever did. This is the energy of procrastination for me. It's like, okay, I'm procrastinating. I can't force myself to do it, but I know that in past, I've very easily gotten whatever, a chore done or whatever it is. So when it comes to burnout versus lazy and unmotivated, I would say just assume you're burned out, because when you use your strategy and authority, when you are doing things that are aligned for who you are, the gifts that you have to bring, you're going to, whether you're lazy, unmotivated, or burnt out, when you find those things, and for me, it's responding. Or if you're a manifester, you'd have the urge to create something that you came up with. If you're just feeling those things, you're not going to feel those things when it is aligned. Okay. I hope that helps. The second guessing halfway through, I would go back up to the overthinking question. It's the same answer, because if you use your internal authority and your body to give you those cues, and you can't just jump into this and trust it. What I found with my human design authority and strategy is that I had to test it in low stakes ways. I had to play it out with what am I wearing today? What am I eating today? Little things that weren't going to blow up my whole life. Right. And that's my whole thing, right? We want to lighten your load without blowing up your life. So if you're feeling burnt out, lazy, or unmotivated, or if they're all the same to you, it doesn't necessarily matter which one it is, then you have a load that needs to be lightened. Something has to give. And my best guess, if I'm applying history and intuition, if you will, is that you're probably in a place where you're shoulding on yourself a lot. You are doing what you should do or what you have to do, or maybe you're overdoing those things. You've overcommitted. And so your body is like resisting. This is not right. This is not what you need. This is not going to give you energy. And so whether it's lazy, unmotivated, or burnt out, the whole point is, can we flip that on its head and start using your human design type to make it a simpler way forward, to make it feel more ease and less resistant? That's what the tool is here for, right? Okay. And Lauren, you said, can human design really help me make decisions? So I feel like we've covered that. My hearty, full-bodied answer is yes. Okay. Right, so I've got a couple anonymous ones here and then one from Brittany. I think I'm going to read them all because I put them together. They're similar. Why does my body feel anxious when my mind knows everything is okay? I try to rest, but I feel guilty or restless when I do. How can I actually relax? And then this anonymous one is, I know I should do yoga or breath work, but I don't. Where do I start? Okay. Or where do I start? And I'm assuming like, how do I make myself do it? All right. So gosh, it's so funny. They're like all in theme with each other, right? So my body feels anxious. My mind knows it's okay. We're talking about connecting the mind and the body here. We're talking about embodiment. And if that is a big woo-woo word that you're not familiar with, that's okay, because our bodies are always trying to tell us something. But sometimes it's like learned or trained behavior based on the mind. When my mind is overthinking, then my body starts feeling anxious. It's showing us what's up. It's showing us that something needs attention. And a lot of times we just don't know what that is until we learn how to live in our meat suits, our bodies. It's so common for us, and me even. It's like, I live in my head. I think about what I'm going to do. I think about what I'm going to plan. I think about how I'm going to use my human design, but that doesn't actually move the needle forward at all. That doesn't actually reduce resistance or help me make decisions that are more aligned. You actually have to take the action of listening to the body. So a great way to start, and this could answer the yoga breath work. So first of all, whoever said I should do yoga and breath work, that is case in point of what I said earlier. When you should on yourself and you think you have to, you're never going to want to. All right. Can you take that further and answer for yourself? Why do I feel like I should? Where did I get that from? Why do I feel like I should do yoga? Why do I feel like I should try breath work? And maybe it's a really good reason. Maybe it's like, because I want to, I want to try it and I'm just not trying it. I've been there. Or maybe you just think, oh, well, that's a really good answer. That's the Sunday school church answer. I should do this. Well, if you get to know yourself and your body and try out this embodiment thing we're going to talk about, then you'll be in tune enough that when you start taking action, right? Like, oh, I'm going to try breath work. I'm going to do it for 30 seconds. If it's not serving you, your body will respond and you'll know, okay, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. And you move on to something else. But let me offer a couple of things. One, there's not you should do yoga or breath work. There's not one way to get rid of anxiety. There's not one way to relax. And this is where it's your custom energetic blueprint that matters. So I can share from experience, anxiety and overwhelm are something that I'm very familiar with. Feeling guilty and not being able to relax, very familiar with. It's one of the things that pushed me to look for a new way forward. And thankfully, I got one of the tools was human design. Other tools, yoga, Reiki, and they've all given different support to me. And so I do think everyone needs a toolbox of different tools that help them. And there's lots of tools that I don't have in my toolbox, but there's a solid handful or more that I can help with. So let's start with my body feels anxious, but my mind knows it's okay. Okay. I'm going to pull from my life coaching tool here. So one thing that really supports being able to understand the mind and body connection when you know the answer or you know what you want yourself to believe and yet you still have the feeling is to sit with your feelings and to not avoid them. Because especially with anxiety and overwhelm, when you resist it and you're like, I don't want to be overwhelmed, I can't be anxious, I got to calm down, it literally amplifies it. It makes it worse when you resist it. So a practice for this is first, sit quietly and be like, okay, I know everything's okay. My body says it's not. Let's try and connect the two and get them talking. Take a couple deep breaths. Doesn't have to be any special breath work. And then I want you to name, and you can do this along with me if you're listening. Okay, you've identified this is the space and it doesn't have to take long. All right. What is the feeling that you have? So let's say you say anxiety. I'm anxious and my mind can't calm me down. Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks for acknowledging that. Now, where do you feel it? So maybe you, like for me, I'm touching my stomach here. So let's just say it's anxiety. I feel tightness in my stomach. Okay. Take a couple breaths and think about your stomach. And usually just the act of breathing and thinking about where the anxiety is can soften it, maybe 1% or 2. And then ask yourself, does it have a temperature? Does it have a color? Is it moving? And so any answer is the right answer because all you're doing is saying to your anxiety, this feeling that is meant to move through you. It's energy. It's not a thing. Okay. It's not actually a handbag that you're putting on your shoulder. Although I like that analogy too. But when you're working with emotions or energy, then acknowledging them and giving them space is usually all it needs. So if there's a temperature, if there's a color, doesn't matter what the answer is, but you're giving it attention and you're breathing through it. Now it has, hey, I was acknowledged. Now I can soften. And sometimes it'll move like, oh, it's kind of actually a little lower in my stomach, or it feels kind of hot. And then you keep breathing. Okay. Is it changing? Do you notice another emotion? And basically just sit with it. If you don't have any change, just the breath alone may soften it for you. And if that doesn't work, just know nothing's gone wrong, because tools are just things that you put into practice. They're not something that's like a silver bullet. It works the first time. I think that having a motion checklist, like chart in front of you, is really helpful, because sometimes, like, I have a wheel, the wheel of emotion. I have like it on a pillow. And so if I'm like just really overwhelmed, be like, okay, let's actually define this, because it gives you a way to go deeper into the emotion. The way that I think this works, and mine's smarter than me. I've experienced it working, but I know that there's science behind it too. And the way that I think that it works, in my own words, is that if you think about, like, let's say a dog that's been in a shelter and maybe it was abused in the past, for example, and it's just really on edge, and you walk towards it. Maybe it got hit on the head a lot, and you try to pet it on the head. It's going to like cower down. And then if it's cornered, it might try to bite, or it might try to like be really big and mean. And it's reacting instead of softening. But what you want, as maybe the human that wants to like support the dog, so I'm just trying to help you. Okay. So the anxiety is our body just being like, hey, I'm trying to help you out here. And when you try to hit it on the head or you corner it, it has to get bigger to be heard, to be seen, to be felt. And so nothing's going wrong when it doesn't go away. However, just like the example with the dog, if you take your time, maybe you sit down and allow it to be upset, be scared, maybe eventually, as you calm down and you're just maybe sitting on the middle of the floor with a treat, for example, you're at their level, and eventually at some point that dog may come out of the corner and sit by you or take the treat, allowing that animal to come to you in its own time, in softness. So that's what happens. This is my way of explaining. When you sit with overwhelm, when you sit with anxiety, just saying, hey, I see you, and you take your time. I'm here to listen. I'm here to support you. I hope that helps. Okay, let's talk about the relaxing. So I try to rest, but I feel guilty and restless when I do. This was the story of my life. I know many people can relate. And I believe this, again, is very similar to the last question. When you're feeling guilty, when you're feeling restless, where is it coming from? Whose voice are you hearing? What is it that would change if you could get XYZ done? It's typically a learned behavior, conditioning. It's the shoulding on yourself again. And so breath is always accessible, and just taking 30 seconds to breathe in and breathe out, you're telling your nervous system that, hey, I'm okay. And learning how to relax is a practice. Now, I'm going to mention one more tool that has helped me tremendously with this and anxiety. So Reiki, I've talked about a ton. I've had a couple of interviews with people that practice Reiki. Reiki is unconditional love, using that life force energy, that energy that helps us do and create and be successful and feel satisfied with our lives, or peaceful. So when you could try Reiki, there is a way to do it on yourself. And the way that I would equate this is like praying. I see the power of prayer, like connecting to yourself, your higher power, God, and just taking a few words to be like, hey, I'm noticing that I feel really restless. I feel guilty when I try to relax. I desire to relax when I sit down at night. And I know that the way that I was created, I know that you created me as a valuable human being and that feelings are normal, but I'm not meant to do and to stress and to feel guilty all the time. And so I'd like just to ask for support in sitting here and finding peace, finding satisfaction, finding delight, finding a sense of accomplishment or success just because I exist. Let me take a couple breaths, say amen. Okay, that's your Reiki on yourself. You could also get some support. I think it's really helpful to experience it from someone that's been practicing for a long time or that's been practicing and kind of has experienced that change. So for example, let's say you book a Reiki session with me. I don't even have a way to do that online, but let's say that you do, or someone that was interviewed here, or someone that's by your house, I'm going to schedule a Reiki session just to see what it's about. They're going to hold space for you while you connect with your body, your breath, your higher self, your spirit, and connect that mind, body, and spirit all in one with their help. And what's so cool about Reiki is it's not that person is the one healing you, because it's your body healing itself to learn how to relax, for example. But having the support of someone else right beside you when you're learning something new or you're doing something for the first time that you don't understand or that maybe makes you feel a little weird, it can be really powerful. And you can have experiences with two people where you might not with just yourself. So I do recommend experiencing Reiki. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, but it has been the number one tool that I've noticed. Now, I was doing all the other tools as well, and then we added cherry on top with Reiki. And I remember feeling like, wow, having someone do Reiki with me. And the coolest thing is you get to lay down and receive. And that act of receiving, someone basically praying over you or, performing this connection for you when you can't do it for yourself, it is so powerful. And I highly recommend that just in case it could give you the release, the receiving I've gotten. And it has helped me just overwhelmingly be connected to my own spirit. And I am able to find release for anxiety, for relaxing in a way that I never have before I met or Reiki found me or whatever. Okay. And then finally, this question about yoga and breath work. What should I do? So I gave you a couple of tools, the Reiki, using the life coaching hack, breath work I've been talking about the whole time. It's not something that you have to go to. And if it just seems weird, like you're already breathing all the time. If you just think about your breath, lengthen the exhale, you're going to be supporting your nervous system. So you can do that for free right now. For yoga, I think everyone should do yoga. Yes, I do have that should in my mind. However, I don't think everyone has the same belief as me, and that's okay. There might be something else. But if you're being called to yoga, why don't you check out my 10-minute free yoga on YouTube, or move your body into some stretches and breathe deep while you're doing it. Like, you can call it yoga because yoga is translated into comfortable seat. It's about calming the mind. It's not, I need to be stretchy or I need to be flexible or anything like that. Where do you start? My answer to you, I know I should do yoga or breath work, but I don't. Where to start is to ask yourself why you think you should. Answer that question. And what are the results that you're going to get when you do yoga and breath work? Maybe there's another tool, or maybe reconnecting with why you want to do it will give you what you need to take one bite size of trying it out. And remember, it's not about doing it for an hour. It's not about doing it right. It's about taking the time to notice your body and to do it, period, in some way. Give yourself that permission to pause. Okay. Well, those are the questions. I hope that this was helpful or insightful. If it sparked something in you to be like, okay, I now have a follow-up question, or I want to ask this, please submit your questions to that Google form. It's very likely that you'll hear the answers coming up on coming episodes. And I've said permission to pause twice now in my answers. So I'm going to just go ahead and plug the Pathway to Peace retreat. It's at the end of April. There's still time to sign up for it. It's in Ellsbury, Missouri. It's, I don't know, like an hour outside of Midtown St. Louis. So we're going to have yin yoga there. We're going to have the human design readings. We're going to have someone talking about menopause, lymphatic system. We're going to have massages that you can book and pay for on the spot, like mini massages. We're going to have a lake that you can go out paddling or kayaking, community of women to connect to. I'm going to bring my AO scanner and do customized voice music to help you with emotions. There's a lot going on. We're going to talk about the chakras. We're going to talk about, oh gosh, there was so many things, but this is April 24th through 26th. Highly recommend it. Give yourself a chance to recalibrate, to reset, to get started on whatever's next as you go into the late spring and summer. I do have those workshops coming up. I think the next one is May 1st at Detox Yoga. If you want to try yoga and you're listening, I've got some classes on the calendar. I am gathering names for a wait list. If you have any interest in doing those low stakes ways of trying out your human design, I'm going to be doing a program. It'll run 6 weeks with people that just want to try human design as an experiment, not change their whole life. This is the lighten your load journey. It's about doing small, tiny things that aren't going to impact your life in a way that's going to make you have to change a whole bunch, but it could be really, really profound, like human design was for me. And so I'm really feeling called to just take some people that are interested in trying it out and having some support with it, having a community, and we'll just work on strategy and authority. We'll learn about our types in a way that it's not going to add, but it could support lightening the load. And we'll be doing that soon. I don't have a date for the launch, but I am collecting names for the waitlist. So that's another Google form. You can just give me your name and I'll let you know as soon as the doors open for that and how that's going to go. I hope that you will start being curious about living by your design. Let's try this in a fresh way. See if human design will, or any of the tools that we've talked about today, if you want to try them out, do it with a curious and experiential mind. Trial and error. Find out if it works for you. Instead of saying, oh, that wouldn't work for me, go try it and see what you learn when you do. Even if it doesn't work, you'll still learn something. All right. Well, that's all I have for you. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will be right back here next Friday.
Thanks for tuning in to Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your takeaways, subscribe, or even leave a review to help others find the show. For more tools and insights, visit my free Facebook group. And until next time, keep embracing exactly who you are and move forward one inspired action at a time.